Temperatures in the low 70s, the Patriots, who are struggling after an overtime loss to the Colts, another defeat at the hands of Miami, play host to the 1-1 Jets, who opened impressively with a win on the road at San Diego, but then lost to their longtime nemesis, the Seattle Seahawks, at home a week ago. Today's game is brought to you by the new Chrysler Corporation, moving America ahead with advanced technology. By the U.S. Army, a place to be all you can be. And by Apple Computers. And hi again, everybody. Bob Costas along with Bob Trumpy. The Jets, the question as always, Trump, which side is going to step forward today? They've dominated the Patriots in past meetings, especially in the recent past. Last week, they turned negative against the Seahawks, and a key for them, as always, the play of their front four.
You're right. Against San Diego, they only had one sack, but they did pressure Dan Fouts 13 times. Joe Klecko and Mark Gastineau, big part of that. Let's look at that defensive line. Gastineau seems to be the guy that gets everybody all fired up. He's the one who does the jumping around the field when he does make a sack. Inside him, Kenny Neal, great pass rusher and a good solid player. Marty Lyons, the other tackle, and Joe Klecko. Now, 66 sacks they had 2 years ago. So far into this game, just one for this season. But in 3 games against the New England Patriots, over the last 3 years, 22 sacks. So they may get well today.
And the Patriots have had trouble in that area themselves. 12 sacks in the first couple of games this year. Is there a matchup along those front lines that intrigues you?
We're going to watch very closely Bob Kreider on the left, Mark Gastineau on the right. Kreider is a guard, is a first-round draft choice out of Alabama, but he's playing just his 5th game at offensive tackle, and he should have his hands full with Gastineau today.
Pat Leahy strained his back during practice on Thursday, didn't kick either yesterday or Friday. He may kick field goals today, but he won't kick off. Chuck Ramsey, normally the Jet punter, will handle that. Ricky Smith, number 27, who had a 97-yard touchdown return against the Jets a year ago, takes it at the 5. Up the middle and spins to about the 35-yard line before being brought down. Steve Grogan and the Patriot offense. Tony Collins and Mark Van Egan are the backs. Stanley Morgan, dangerous as always. Lynn Dawson, the new starting tight end, and Cedric Jones, the other wide receiver. And the offensive line with John Hanna and the talk of retirement behind him, signed to a new contract. Bob Kreider replacing Shelby Jordan at right tackle. Jordan dealt to the Raiders for a 4th-round draft choice in 1985. Morgan in motion on the first play from scrimmage. Collins will carry. And he wedges out for about 6. Collins had 76 yards last week in a good performance against Miami.
5-yard gain on the play.
There's the sack exchange. Abdul Salam, of course, is out. Joe Klecko trying to come back from the injured knee sustained here last year in the game before the strike. He's at about 85–90%. Woodring has played so well that he's replaced Blinka as the starting middle linebacker. Mel and Buttle outside. Second down 5. Collins again, leaving them with 3rd and short yardage. As we looked at that Jet defense, we might note they're the only AFC team remaining who plays the 4-3, Trump.
Well, that's where their talent lies. Ron Meyer, head coach of the New England Patriots. When you've got 4 guys like the Jets can put on the field, hopefully 16 games a year, that's exactly why you stay with a 43. They don't gain anything by taking an extra man out, putting in an extra back. And the plus for the Jets defensive line is they can get to the quarterback without a lot of blitzing.
3rd down and 2, and Collins has it. A flag flies as Collins goes down in the grasp of John Woodring, number 57, who had 8 solo tackles last week against Seattle, forced a couple of fumbles and recovered another. Bob McElwee will give us the ruling in a moment.
Bob, I noticed to begin with the New England Patriots 3 running plays, all 3 behind Hanna.
Holding, number 87, offense, third down.
Lynn Dawson, the tight end, who had won the starting job from Don Hasselbeck before Hasselbeck was dealt this week to the Raiders officially this week. The deal was in the making for a while, and they couldn't finalize it till physicals were taken by both players involved. Derek Ramsey has moved over from the Raiders to the Patriots, and he'll see action today. Robert Weathers joins Tony Collins in the backfield on 3rd and 12. And they give it to Weathers. And Weathers is very close to the first down. In fact, he's got it. A gain of 12, which is just what he needed.
Defensively for the New York Jets, they took out a linebacker, put in a 5th defensive back, spread out the defense a great deal, and let's give credit to the guys up front. Brock Holloway, a great job of blocking, simply a short sweep, and kind of caught the New York Jets napping.
Robert Weathers, who has a younger brother, rookie wide receiver and kick returner Clarence Weathers, on the Patriot club. From the New England 46, long setback Van Egan, and the veteran from Colgate gets very short yardage before being smacked back by Woodring, number 57. Woodring's play has really been a revelation for Joe Gardy and the defensive coaches for the Jets, Trump.
A young man who was very active and certainly impressed the coaches on the special teams over the last couple of years. And Joe Gardy, assistant head coach, defensive coordinator, said he's earned his chance to start doing so today.
Anxious to shine here. He went to college at Brown. He's got a lot of his friends in the audience at Sullivan Stadium. Drove into the air for the first time off the play fake. A man open. It's the tight end Dawson. He juggled it for a moment, but he holds it. They're going to be left with 3rd and 1. Bobby Jackson had coverage.
Grogan is down. He was shillelagh'd by Mark Gastineau. The matchup that we're going to feature. Gastineau on Kreider. I can't tell you what's wrong with Gastineau. Steve Grogan does get up, but Gastineau hit him right in the leg. That's one of the rules that the NFL put in, that they're not supposed to go to the head, but you'll watch this low tackle attempt by Gastineau. Kreider clips Gastineau there, and then you see the pressure right into Steve Grogan's knee. It does appear like that might have a serious effect. That would be tragic. A defensive end hurt here last year for the New York Jets. Could it happen again?
Gastineau left under his own power. There he is walking off a moment ago. Now the resultant change, Kenny Neal goes from left tackle to left end. And Barry Bennett, number 78, comes in at the tackle spot. Something the Jets certainly don't need. They're already somewhat injured up front. Now another change in that front four. This is 3rd down 1 from the Jet 45. Mosi Tatupu has the first down at the 40 of New York. Kenny Neal on the tackle for the Jets.
Got to be a concern on the part of the New York Jets. Seattle last week ran the ball for 4 quarters, and the Patriots will continue to run the ball until the Jets can stop them, and they're a good running football team.
Kurt Warner had 128 yards for the Seahawks last week, and as a team, Seattle went over 200 yards on the ground in their 17-10 victory at Shea Stadium. Tony Collins, the 3rd-year man from East Carolina, for short yardage on first down.
Bob, NFL coaches are great copycats. They will admit to that. And when a team discovers a weakness in next week's opponent, then you try to take advantage of it as best you possibly can. Make them stop you before you go away from what you think will work best. Last week's yardage gain by Kurt Warner was the first 100-yard rushing game that the Jets had given up since the opening game of the 1982 season. Andre Franklin of the Miami Dolphins.
On 2nd and 8, the give is to Collins. Some blockers in front of him, and Collins bolts through the hole and won't stop until he's got 6.
No flags. Touchdown, New England. New England is able to cave in the right side. Good block by the tight end. That leaves Ken Schroy, 48, out there almost by himself. And Collins, even though a very durable and tough runner, Good speed out of East Carolina. Now wearing the gloves as he characteristically has done over the last couple of years. He used lightning in a bottle, and now the Jets, they did not want this to happen. 38-yard run for a touchdown, and you can't give a team that you're better than life, which they have just done for the New England Patriots.
For Collins, his first touchdown of the year. John Smith for the extra point. Out of the hold of first-round draft choice Tony Eason, it's perfect. And the Patriots score on their first possession, lead it 7-0 with 10:17 to play first quarter. There's Tony Collins, who scored the touchdown a moment ago on a 38-yard run. As I recall it, Trump, they put the ball in the air only one time on the drive, and they got a completion on that.
Matter of fact, they ran the ball 6 times to the left, threw it once, and ran it to the right for the touchdown. And that was the spot vacated by Mark Gastineau on the sideline. Kenny Neal was playing defensive end there.
Johnny Hector comes up to the 10-yard line, and the rookie from Texas A&M bolts up the middle to the 35. Now the Jets have been concerned about their kicking return game with Bruce Harper and Kurt Sohn both hurt. Perhaps Johnny Hector will ease those fears.
Looks like Mark Gastineau telling his teammates he's all right, be back in there. Moment of trepidation there for the New York Jets as you look at the offense.
Freeman McNeil over 100 yards in each of his first 2 outings. Walker and Gaffney the wide receivers, the veteran Barkham is the tight end. And there's their offensive line. They go to the air on first down, and Walker makes the catch. Once again, a look at the offensive lines. Some prominent names there. Joe Fields, the center, very talkative in the huddle. They call him the general. Marvin Powell has been to 4 Pro Bowls, and Chris Ward is the guy that the coaches say has played the best of any of the offensive linemen so far this year.
That can be considered a power offensive line. They're great straight-ahead blockers.
Coached by Jim Ringo, who used to coach here, among other NFL stops, including Buffalo, where he put the electric company together. The pitch back to McNeil on 2nd and 4. Skips out of bounds as a flag goes down.
Holding New York Jets. Penalties and turnovers last week cost the Jets a victory. And you don't want the game to start like this if you're a New York Jet fan. You certainly don't want to give New England any chance.
You want to talk injuries, Trump? Let's talk about Ken Sims.
Number 72, offense, 2nd down.
Chris Ward guilty of holding. Ken Sims a broken leg. He's out at least a couple more weeks. There are their linebackers. And the defensive backs with Mike Haynes still a holdout. Ronnie Lippett at the left corner, a man to watch.
Tough situation here now. 2nd and 13, opening drive of the ball game. Richard Todd would certainly hope for better. This is when you want the head coach calling the plays, which Joe Walton does.
Lots of time for Todd. He zings it out, but it's incomplete. Another flag is down. And against the Jets again as they walk it off. Let's talk about that New England defense, Trump. They have had problems. Baltimore jumps in front of Buffalo on a field goal in the first. Problems all over the place. Packers leading at home over the Rams by the same margin. Ken Sims and George Crump, normally starters on the defensive line, are both out of this game with injuries. Here's the call.
Illegal chop block, number 70 offense, 2nd down.
So first they got Ward, and now they get Waldemore, the left side of the line on infractions. Lester Williams and Julius Adams, who will see some action today defensively. Down linemen for the Patriots, each with a broken thumb. Mike Haynes a holdout. 2nd and nearly 30 for the Jets. They pitch it back to Lamb Jones, and Jones trying to spring him for some running room, but not much. Stopped by Roland James and Clayton Wysoon as Lamb Jones, who has been hobbled early, gets some action here.
Didn't surprise the New England Patriots. They're more than happy to give up 7 or 8 yards when it's 2nd and 25 or 26. That's not going to hurt them a great deal. It looked like there was a problem on the play because there was no blocker in front of Lamb Jones. You would certainly expect the blocker to be out there, maybe consumed by the defensive line. Now 3rd and 20 or close to it.
bunch, takes off running, goes down in an act of self-preservation, and Ramsey will have to punt. Marshall Harris, who was with the Jets briefly at the start of his career, more recently cut by the Browns and signed on as a free agent by the Patriots, made the stop on time.
First series by the New York Jets, certainly less than they had anticipated. They hope for a good, long, sustaining drive. As we said earlier, you do not want to give life to an 0-2 football team early in the game. The quicker you can put the stopper to them, the better off you are.
Ricky Smith, who's had some long returns but also some problems with fumbling, is the single safety. They had talked earlier this week about replacing him. Handles it cleanly at the 22 and goes virtually nowhere. Good coverage by the Jets. Marion Barber, number 31, down on the stop. The last time Grogan had his hands on the football, he took them in. We'll come back with the Pats' next possession after this.
Mark Gastineau back in the lineup for the New York Jets. That means Ken Neal will move back into defensive tackle.
Saw him in the hotel lobby at breakfast this morning wearing a pink sport coat.
Now, when you're 6'5" and 280, you can wear pink and nobody says anything.
Yeah, he can get away with it. Collins and Van Eegen the backs on first down from the New England 24. Collins, who scored the touchdown the last time, gets 5. Back with the Patriots' second down play in a minute, but first let's go to New York.
Thank you, Bob Costas. Moments ago in Washington, Nick Lowry for Kansas City from 58 yards away, and he's got it. 3-0 Kansas City over Washington. Quite a kick. Back to you, Bob.
Whoa, shades of Tom Dempsey Trump.
58 yards.
Again on second down, and he's out across the 35 with first down yardage.
Bob, second possession by the New England Patriots, and the thing they're doing so very well is not turning the second down into first down, but that first down yardage. They had 2nd and 4 in their opening drive. They had 2nd and 1. Collins already has 60 yards rushing on 6 carries.
He gets a breather here as Robert Weathers joins Van Eegen in the backfield. And this is Weathers carrying, smack back after a short gain. He had a 77-yard run in the opener against the Colts, then was nursing a tender knee last week against Miami and saw limited action.
Here's Gastineau once again on Bob Kreider and the tight end Lynn Dawson doing a good job fighting. Look, Ken Neal, 77 inside. A lot of pressure. Van Eegen also on Mark Gastineau. Now, last week against the Seattle Seahawks, the Jets blitzed no less than 25 times because the Seahawks were running the ball so much. Very uncharacteristic. If New England continues to run the ball with some success, they may have to go to that again, and that's not what they do best. Blitz.
Play fake, 2nd and 8, and a bullet finding the mark. Stanley Morgan hauls it in Jet territory, a gain of 14 and a New England first down.
For the Patriots, Stanley Morgan has been hampered with a bad hamstring pull. Not bad stats, though. He finally practiced this entire week. Grogan is familiar with him. Got the timing back, and so far the New England Patriots are pretty much having their way with the Jets.
They give it to Weathers. Stop for a loss of 1. Lance Mell making the stop from his linebacker spot. Those are Grogan's career stats. This year he's clicked on 55%, 4 touchdowns, 2 picked off. He was irked by some questions after the Miami loss last week, questions about whether he would give way to the #1 draft choice Tony Eason. Bolted from some post-game interviews. Weathers.
Robert Weathers.
Finding the going very tough against Mell and Ken Schroy in that case.
Looks like Marty Lyons is coming off the field. He's got a bad ankle.
We told you about that 58-yard field goal by Kansas City's Nick Lowry. Green Bay also by a field goal over the Rams. Pittsburgh leading by 3 at the Astrodome.
Field goals everywhere.
Grogan's 2 for 2 for 21 yards. This is 3rd and 8. Lots of time. Finally lobs it out to Weathers, who makes a nice move and gets them the first down. He's at the New York 35.
Watch the game up front by the New York Jets trying to get to the quarterback. Defensive ends inside, tackles outside. They lose their pass rush lanes, which allows Grogan just a split second more time. Than watch this move. Oh, nice. Good enough for a first down. Mel on the tackle.
He eluded Bobby Jackson there, a man who has played extremely well over the past few seasons, getting little recognition for it. Jets people think he should be in the Pro Bowl. This might be the year. Van Egan, the sole setback, and he's got the ball, but very little yardage. Klecko on the stop. Klecko, a strong game against San Diego in the opener. He, like the rest of the Jet defense, had some problems against Seattle. The question with him, how much confidence does he have at this point, coming back from that very serious injury sustained right here last season?
Bob, it's bothering him. In fact, he played very poorly last week. Looked at some films of himself about 2 years ago and recognizes that he is playing basically one-legged. Purely psychological, though. His knee does not bother him.
On 2nd and 9.
Screen.
Stanley Morgan does a little dance after getting a block. He's coming across the field. Stanley Morgan down the sideline. It's going to be 1st and goal.
No flags. Defensive coaches, Bob, talk about not allowing big plays. Second big play for the New England Patriots. Well disguised outside screen, and then Morgan, with his outstanding speed, is able to almost completely outrun the defense. Runs against the grain. That's just his 3rd catch of the season.
"27 yards to the 7-yard line. 1st and goal, New England." Touchdown. And why not celebrate? The Pats are having a field day, up 13-0 in the first quarter.
To show you the dominance, the New England Patriots have now had the ball for 18 offensive plays. The Jets just 3. Excellent block by Van Egan on Ken Schroy, kicking out, sweep up underneath Ken Schroy, and of course they caved in the corner, and that's where Joe Klecko plays. Joe Walton in the hat, turned around backwards. Certainly no one expected the Jets to be down by
maybe 14. Smith again.
He missed it. He missed it. He missed it. 13-0. Who would have expected that?
So far, that missed kick, the only good news for the Jets. 2:28 to play in the first.
At you with pro football's best. The New England Patriots take on the rugged Pittsburgh Steelers. Or the LA Raiders come up against the Orange Crush from Denver. Plus hard-hitting regional action on NBC.
A picture-perfect sweep. Collins on the score. You see right in back of him 87 and 76. Dawson and Holloway absolutely sealing the corner. Klecko inside, the linebacker inside. That's the way the offensive coaches draw it up. 6 points, New England.
Smith with the kick. Again, it's Hector at the 5-yard line. Does not get to the 20. Excellent kick coverage by the Patriots. Something happening somewhere else. Let's check it out in New York.
Well, Bob, another underdog doing it. This one in Houston. Carl Roaches of the Oilers against Pittsburgh took it on his 3 and goes coast to coast. 97 yards. The first kickoff returned against the Steelers for a touchdown in 13 years. Roaches will stumble at the end, but Houston leads it. Let's go back to New England.
All right, thanks, Lenny. Here, 13-0 New England. Jets go back to work from their 18-yard line and give it to McNeil. Freeman McNeil, who a year ago led the NFL in yards gained rushing, average yard per carry, and had a game of more than 200 yards in the playoffs against Cincinnati. These are his figures this year. 120 yards against San Diego, 140 a week ago against the Seahawks.
Saw Lamb Jones come in with a play from the sideline. Joe Walton. The Jets now must break the emotion of the New England Patriots. On that kickoff, you saw good play by people down very quickly, and that so often is an indicator as to which team is emotionally ready to play the game. New England is.
McNeil again. They're going to be left with 3rd and about 2. They have not been overworking their prize running back McNeil. He's had just over 20 carries. This is what he did a year ago as he opened so impressively. Just over 20 carries in each of the first 2 games this season, and that's not an excessive amount. He goes out now on 3rd, and we'll call it a long 2. Johnny Hector carrying and paying for it as they stop him well short. They hit him right at about the line of scrimmage.
So far, the Jets 1 first down now. And last week and through this season, face mask, they're going to get it because of penalty. But one of the problems that the New York Jets have had this season so far has been converting 3rd downs to 1st downs. Joe Walton's got confidence in this offense, though. They've gone on 4th down 7 times, made it 5 times. But when it comes to 3rd down conversions, everyone in the Jets camp says that we miss Bruce Harper. He is the best 3rd down back there is in the game. And they got to go with another offense, and they got to go with some different ideas for Johnny Hector. Here's the call.
Face mask, number 57, defense, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
They got linebacker Steve Nelson on that call.
That's inadvertent face mask, so it's only 5 yards in a 1st down. Intentional would be 15 in a 1st down.
Joe Walton with the trademark baseball-type cap turned backwards. We're in the closing minute of the first quarter, 57 seconds. McNeil darts off right tackle to the 35-yard line before Marshall Harris, number 78, stopped him. The New England defense just racked by injuries. As we mentioned earlier, Ken Sims, George Crump, Julius Adams, Lester Williams, all hobbled to one extent or another. Crump and Sims we will not see at all. Don Blackman, linebacker, a neck injury. He also unlikely to perform. Didn't play last week against Miami. Mike Haynes, still a holdout. You lose a guy who's gone to the Pro Bowl 6 of the last 7 years. Replace him with an 8th-round draft choice in Ronnie Lippett. Lamb Jones makes the catch for the Jets, and they've got a 1st down near their own 45.
Bob, same play they started the football game with.
Jets 1st down.
That's the end of the first quarter. My goodness. You mentioned that defense and all the injuries at times. Psychology and emotion takes over, and the team plays better than it really should. So far in the first quarter, that's exactly what we've seen by the New England Patriots. Defensive end, New York Jets, world's biggest cherub. Last week played poorly. Hoping for better this week. So far, he has not played well.
A whistle as the Jets line up for the first play of the second quarter.
So far in this football game, the New England Patriots, even with their injuries, are playing at 110%. The Jets at 100.
They just wanted to make sure that chains were set properly. No call on the play. Crutchfield carries. A flag goes down, and Crutchfield does too as he crosses the 45. Marshall Harris, number 78, makes the stop, and the call is against New York. The Patriots dominating in every way possible, scoring both times they had the ball. Now, a year ago, when these teams met for the only time, here's the call.
Number 60, offense, first down.
Call is on Dan Alexander, number 60, the right guard. Because of the strike, these teams met only once last year. And in that game, the Patriot offense was completely non-existent. The only touchdown they got was on the kickoff return of 97 yards by Ricky Smith. But they have moved the ball both times they've had it today for touchdowns. Lamb Jones in motion. The handoff to McNeil. Out to about the 43-yard line. The Saints have scored to tie it at 7.
And McNeil is limping slightly. He has had foot problems, straining his foot. Atlanta over Detroit 3-0. Field goals everywhere. Baltimore still over Buffalo 3-0. Frisco over the Cardinals 7-0 first quarter. We'll watch Freeman McNeil very closely. There he is. He has had foot problems before.
Second down and 12 now for the Jets. Todd was looking for Gaffney, but bounced it to him.
I'm finding a hard time understanding why the offense is having so much trouble moving the ball down the field. As you look at the center, Joe Fields on Luther Henson. 65, as you said, the general. Excellent job of pass protection. Frees up the guards as a backup pass protector. But Todd just simply threw that ball on the ground. Very poor fundamentally for Richard in that case. Not very good stat.
And as you mentioned, Trump, the absence of Bruce Harper, who will be gone for about 3 more weeks, has hurt them in that third down category. Todd steps away from the pressure and throws a perfect strike. The catch is made by Lamb Jones. Jones fumbles, but it's out of bounds. And the Jets will have it at the New England 29.
One of the things that the New York Jets can do is they have such gifted, skilled people like Lamb Jones. 29 yards on that catch with great speed. There is no reason presently down 13-0 to panic. They've got great running backs in McNeil and Augustiniak and also Crutchfield. Todd does an excellent job stepping up into the pocket, although I certainly wish he would not pat the football. He is telling himself, he's open, now I throw it. It at times destroys the timing of the pattern. But Jones, if you give him an inch, he can break one for you. Big first down and first big play for the New York Jets of the day.
And they pitch it back to Crutchfield. Crutchfield gets about 5 to the 24-yard line.
McNeil still on the sideline, being looked at by doctors on the right 38 or 40-yard line. That certainly is a big offensive weapon out of their lineup.
Steve Nelson made that tackle. Additional problems for the Patriots defensively. Nelson missed virtually the entire preseason with a viral infection. Clayton Weiss-Soon, another linebacker, as they tend to McNeil, injured an ankle, and he was out the entire preseason, so their progress has been slowed. Todd gets rid of it to Crutchfield. Crutchfield gets a block and a first down for New York at the 15 of the Pats. A gain of 11. Rick Sanford and Clayton Weiss-Soon combining on the tackle.
Good call by Joe Walton. Expecting a good pass rush, trying to just be patient, work the ball down the field.
Along with Rick Sanford, we're in there defensively.
But the Patriots have done an excellent job of taking the emotion out of the New York Jets. We're going to examine Richard Todd when he throws the ball. I consider it a bad habit. Before he throws it, he pats the ball, then throws it. It's not an indicator to the defense, but it just takes a split second more in timing to get the ball off.
It's Crutchfield again. He falls over tacklers, then carries people down inside the 5. First and goal, New York. Crutchfield is a handful at 6 feet and 232 pounds.
12 yards on that carry. And that's that power offensive line I was speaking of the New York Jets. They have great people up front. Matter of fact, I heard our broadcast partner, our broadcast friend Bob Greasy, say if he was going to start a team, he would start it with their 2 offensive tackles and their 2 defensive ends. And he said, I'd find it out week in and week out with any team in the NFL.
First and goal from about the 3, and Crutchfield is to the 1-yard line.
Crutchfield carries. Steve Nelson defensively. Second and goal from the 1.
So with McNeil over on the bench, having injured either his foot or his ankle, and how seriously we don't know yet, Crutchfield has taken up the slack on this drive.
Bob, they were putting ice on Freeman McNeil's knee. It's like more of a bruise than anything else. We'll try to keep you posted.
Crutchfield. Did he get there? Or they just couldn't stop it? On sheer strength, he has the touchdown.
You can tell he is not used to carrying the ball a great deal. He looked very tired in the last 2 or 3 steps of that. Standing straight up, generally, you think a running back would get his head down in there, but look at that leg strength. 6 points, New York Jets. Watch once again. Looks rather heavy-legged right there, trying to bounce it outside.
If he's tired, imagine how the 4 guys he carried into the end zone feel.
He could charge them a ticket price for riding him in there. Extra point good.
As they come back.
Pat Leahy's suffering from a bad back and not kicking off today, and as you can see, walking very slowly off the field, did kick the extra point. 13-7 New England, 11:48 to play in the half.
Offense of the New York Jets. Freeman McNeil, 24, right next to Jim Ringo. A little stern talk. There's Joe Walton, head coach. Be patient. Keep it going. That was a good drive. 13 plays, 82 yards. Don't get down on yourselves. McNeil, we understand, a bruised knee. Will return.
Ramsey, the kickoff man. A straight-ahead kicker and a very, very short kick. Fielded by Ricky Smith. Don't give him any room if you can help it. To the 32-yard line.
Now the pressure on the New York Jet defense. The Patriots have had the ball twice in the first quarter, scored on both drives. This is the part of this New York Jet football team that seems to dictate to the rest of the team how they're going to play for the day. They must now begin to shut down the New England Patriots if they're going to be in this football game. And the Patriots have done an outstanding job in 2 phases. 1, controlling the line of scrimmage by the offensive line, and 2, play selection. Let's watch this first down play. Yardage, so very important on the first down play.
Van Egan to the 40-yard line, so they get 7 on the first down play.
Now the defense is at the mercy of the offense. Play action, run, screens, almost anything in the playbook is available to the New England Patriots.
Baltimore on a couple of field goals, leading Buffalo 6-0. And Houston, with that Carl Roach's touchdown return of 97 yards over Pittsburgh, 7-6. Collins, first down and then some. He's into Jet territory. He's to the 39-yard line. 22 yards for Collins, who might go over 100 in the first half alone.
Credit to Mark Van Egan, a great block on the outside linebacker of the New York Jets. He absolutely folded Bob Crable. And also, Bob Kreider, right tackle, did an excellent job on Mark Gastineau. And the New England Patriots have had an awful lot of runs. 3 runs over 10 yards so far in this football game. Entirely too much yardage.
Sticking with a good thing, they keep it on the ground, and Van Egan wedges out perhaps 3 yards. Steve Grogan hasn't thrown it often, but when he has, he's been protected well. That's in contrast to what's happened the last couple of weeks for the Pats. 12 sacks against the Colts and the Dolphins combined, and the last 3 times they faced the sack exchange, 22 sacks of Patriot quarterbacks in those 3 games, but so far not today. Grogan has hit on 4 out of 4 for 60 yards. Collins The first hole was closed. He tried to take it outside, but they stop him about 4 yards short of what he needed for the first, with Lance Mell making initial contact.
They're doing a great job of capturing the corner of that defense, which is supposed to be almost impossible nowadays in the NFL. But New England Patriots offense has always been a team that's able to pull guards and get them out there in front of the running back. And of course, Mark Van Egan for his entire career has been known as two things: a durable running back and a great blocker. And he ahead of Tony Collins is a good duo.
Hold everything.
They've got several choices here, would you not say? Going to be against the Pats.
Ball start, middle of the line, offense, third down.
Mass confusion. Poor Steve Grogan just happens to be an innocent bystander, and Kenny Neal parks him. By the way, Tony Collins now with 93 yards in the first half.
And he's compiled those 93 on just 9 carries. Third down and about 10. 8:55 to play second quarter. All out play. Short drop. Long throw. Is there a flag? There's a flag down. I don't know if it was dropped inadvertently or not, but there is a flag on the field, Trump.
No, they're going to call a penalty. Holding Jets. That was an all-out blitz. They had 9 guys coming after the quarterback, Bob, which is very uncharacteristic of the New York Jets. If they have to go to blitzing, they're going to plan B.
Bobby Jackson, mentioned a while ago.
Number 29, defense, automatic first down.
Johnny Lynn in as the nickelback on that third and long is guilty of holding.
Jackson on Stephen Starring did an excellent job in coverage, but it was called on the man inside. Another first down, New England Patriots.
Collins, a yard, maybe 2 this time. Bob Crable, who had been hobbled by a foot injury, was in on the tackle that time for the Jets.
In the trenches, watch the bow and the defensive line of scrimmage. Although that time, Gastineau really sinks his head into Kreider's chest. 75 red, 99 white. Kind of destroys the timing of the play. You see Van Egan coming around there on Crable. And then they're allowed good pursuit. One of the few times they've stopped them on that sweep.
The fake to Van Egan. Grogan trying to scramble, but down he goes. There's the first sack, and it's Klecko who gets it.
And just the second sack of the season for the New York Jets. Although against the San Diego Chargers, defensive line credited with 13 pressures by Gastineau, 5 by Klecko. And that was a very timely sack. Stanley Morgan, Bob, was wide open down the middle.
So now the Pats face 3rd and 15 from the Jet 38.
They have converted all of their third downs to first downs so far in this first half.
They'll try to do it for a 4th consecutive time. Just missed on the connection. Stefan Starring, a rookie from McNeese State, was the target for Grogan.
He had time to throw. Patriot offensive line doing an outstanding job of protecting Grogan. Of course, when you're able to run the ball against any defense, put that split second of indecision in the defensive lineman's mind as to whether it's a run or a pass, and the defense is at a heck of a disadvantage. That's a great job by Bob Kreider on Mark Gastineau.
Rich Camarillo averaging 49.5 yards per kick through the first 2 games this year. Had a 63-yarder last week against Miami. wants to get this one out of bounds. And let's see where they're going to spot it. Somewhere around the 14-yard line, and we'll come back in just a minute.
Mark Gastineau, defensive end, along with his friends on the defensive line, sitting there in rest, hoping the offense can generate a long drive to give that defense a needed rest.
The last punt by Camarillo went 25 yards. McNeil, after having his knee iced on the last Jet offensive series, is back in. Picks up about 4 on first down. Kansas City out in front of Washington, still by the margin of that 58-yard Nick Lowry field goal. Green Bay ups their lead over the Rams to 10. And it's still 7-6 Houston over Pittsburgh in the second. New Orleans, after trailing 7-0, now leads the Bears by 3. Atlanta over Detroit by 10. And Baltimore with a couple of field goals to lead Buffalo in the second. Second and 6 for Todd, who fires one long and broken up. Ray Claiborne slapped it out of the grasp of Wesley Walker.
Ball underthrown by Richard Todd. If it's thrown in stride to Wesley Walker, it's going to be a foot race that I could not predict between Ray Claiborne and Wesley Walker. Watch this ball. Good play action fake. That Richard pats the ball, and as you can see, he is clearly beat. Underthrown, missed opportunity.
Todd has connected with Walker for 2 touchdowns already this year, but he's missed him 3 or 4 other times on what could have been touchdowns or long gainers.
That's because Walker has not really practiced much so far this season.
Third down 6. In trouble and can't get out of it. But a flag goes down.
That's the third holding call on the New York Jets.
Number 72, offense, decline, 4th down.
Let's see if we can pick it up. 72, right in front of you, against number 90 of the New England Patriots, Toby Williams. And it looked like Chris Ward had Stan Waldemore had a handful of jersey.
Well, Ron Meyer has been quoted as saying that every time the ball is kicked toward Ricky Smith, your heart is in your throat. It's going to be there again because Smith is the man Meyer has back deep in single safety for Ramsey's kick, which is a relatively short one, and there's a fumble, but he covers it. And a flag again. Just a 33-yard punt, which prior to the walking off of the penalty gives the Patriots the ball at their 48.
I don't know that there's ever been another penalty called on a punt besides illegal push in the back. That used to be a clip. Now, since you can't block below the waist, they seem to call that very close. Of course, once the ball is punted, coaches encourage the special teams to realize that the officials are looking for one thing, and that is an illegal push in the back.
Illegal block above the waist. Number 80 on the return team. Post possession. 1st down.
So they put it in play now at the New England 38. But first, a timeout with 6 minutes and 22 seconds to play in the first half. Grogan and the Pats lead Todd and the Jets 13-7. Bob Costas, Bob Trumpy at Sullivan Stadium in Foxborough. The Patriots have the ball in a 13-7 lead from their 38. And Mark Van Eegen carries. They've got consistently good yardage on first down, Trump.
So much an indicator nowadays in the NFL. If you can get 6 or 7 yards on that first down, 6-0 now Kansas City over Washington. Another Nick Lowry field goal, 21 yards. Green Bay ups it, scores 17-0 over the Rams. Steve Grogan, plays are wig-wagged into the sideline. He's trying to reinforce the signals, make sure he's got the right thing. 2nd down and 3 once again. Now the defense at the mercy of the offense. Play action, screens, everything works.
Unloading deep for Stanley Morgan. Bobby Jackson picked it off out of bounds.
Worth a shot. They come up with 3rd and 3 and have had good success converting 3rd downs into 1st downs. They're 3 of 4. There's the offensive line. Kreider 75, Gastineau 99. Excellent job pushing Gastineau away from him. Gastineau is both a power rusher and a finesse rusher. That means he'll run around the offensive line, but he is there to put the finishing touches on Steve Grogan, who nowadays, because of bad knees, is a target. He isn't as mobile as he used to be.
Once among the great scramblers in the NFL. They need 3 yards. Weathers gets it.
Or comes close. Very close.
It's closer than I thought. You're right. I'm sticking by my statement till proven wrong. Let's
Okay,
see.
I don't blame you. The Patriots have chosen to throw the ball underneath the linebackers and just behind the very quick pass rush of the New York Jets. And so far, it's worked very well. Whoops.
As was plain to see, they had the 1st down all along.
Microscopic vision you have, sir. Ron Meyer has got to be extremely pleased with his football team. In the face of all kinds of injuries up front on defense, has been able to stop the New York Jets. And the offense, possession-wise, has done an outstanding job. 1st down yardage by the Patriots for this 1st half. An astounding stat.
On the 2nd quarter clock. Collins, he's over 100 yards with this carry. And finally out of bounds at about the 20-yard line of the Jets. Knocked out by Jerry Holmes.
Right up the middle of the New York Jet defense. Let's watch it from behind. Great block by Hanna. Collins, a good read, and then a guy of his strength, he has outstanding speed once he gets to the outside. 47 makes an attempt at the tackle. That's Jerry Holmes, but not until Collins picks up 32 yards.
They spot the ball at the 21-yard line of New York. Collins gets a breather after the long run. Van Egan and Weathers are the backs. Weathers, that didn't fool anybody. Lance Mell makes the tackle.
There's Collins. He's the one that gets all the cheers, but the work done up front by the heavyweights. The big people in the trenches. It's Kreider 75 against Gastineau. All run to the other side, but you can see him stand him up. Just neutralize him right there, and Collins with his quickness through the line of scrimmage. Great job, offensive line, New England Patriots.
Weathers, maybe 3 on the carry. It was 2nd and 10, not 2nd and 8. So this is going to leave them with 3rd down. And let's call it 7 as we pause briefly for station identification on the NBC television network.
This is WNBC TV, New York.
Crowd of about 45,000 at Sullivan Stadium. Their season tickets have fallen off from close to 55,000 several years ago to about half that now, and they gave away some tickets for their opener against the Colts to season ticket holders and drew some criticism for that. Grogan wants to make sure everything is set, so he asked for time.
I'll tell you why. I believe the New York Jets had a man down at the line of scrimmage that Grogan was unfamiliar with, but it was simply a linebacker.
A look at Mark Gastineau with 3.5 minutes to play, 1st half. They learned their lessons well from watching the Seattle game films.
That simply means, too, that that they are controlling the line of scrimmage, which coming into this football game, I don't think anyone would have expected. Patriots would have dominated the New York Jets defensive line as much as they have so far this first half.
3rd and 7, in trouble. Klecko, his second sack. Joining him to help out is Ben Rudolph, number 76.
He is on Brian Holloway. Comes from the other side of the line. You see the game once again. Gastineau inside, defensive tackles outside. Wait a minute. Joe Klecko is playing defensive tackle. He just lined up at defensive tackle for the New York Jets. We'll watch that closely and see if it continues. They have Kenny Neal on the outside. Klecko inside, left hand side of the screen.
Smith will try a 44-yard field goal out of Eason's hold, and he'll hit it. John Smith from Southampton, England connects. Meyer in front of Walton, 16-7. I don't know how much of the 16-7 lead is attributable to moral support, but it can't hurt.
Those boots are made for dancing.
2:59 to play until halftime. John Smith, one of the most accurate field goal kickers in NFL history. Kicks to Hector again, this time at the 2. And does not get to the 20-yard line.
Once again, the emotion of the New England Patriots showing on those special teams. And to this point in the first half, no turnovers. And the Patriots do, in fact, lead the Jets 16-7.
Johnny Rembert, a rookie from Clemson, playing on the special teams, drafted as a linebacker, made the tackle on Hector.
New England has certainly won the field position battle so far in this first half, haven't they, Robert? They've gotten the ball in great territory.
Atlanta pounding the Lions 17-0. McNeil. Notice how he runs, Trump. Always twisting, slanting. Perhaps you could liken him to a Tony Dorsett. A runner who carries the ball like that and who struggles a lot for extra yardage is prone to fumble some. The Jets are in a 2-minute drill here, lining up quickly. McNeil takes the lob from Todd and takes a hit and goes down at the 26.
Only 2:16 left in this first half, and the Jets want to get on the board, that is for sure. They're going to huddle up now and let the 2-minute warning happen and then go right back into that 2-minute offense and try to get it, what, 73 yards down the field?
Well, when we come back, the Jets will face 3rd down 2 from their 27-yard line. 2 minutes left. They have all 3 timeouts remaining. Len Berman, Bill McAtee and company, NFL 83 at halftime. Checking the results from around the rest of the league. Ron Meyer of the Patriots out in front here, 16-7. Richard Todd trying to cut into that deficit in the last 2 minutes. Gives to Crutchfield. That's the second time we've seen him do that. Vault over tacklers. He gets the first down.
Patriots been very efficient in this first half. 4 drives, scored on 3. Jets scored on just 1 of their 4 drives, this being their 5th.
Todd finds McNeil with the flip down at the 40 in the grasp of Steve Nelson. 2nd and 5 coming up.
Defensively, Andre Chicken and Steve Nelson at the 40, 2nd and 5.
Lots of time. Crutchfield, first down. And the Jets use their first timeout with 1:13 left.
It would be a great psychological lift to this football team to get any points out of this drive whatsoever. Points at the end of a half and right at the beginning of the next half are vitally important to the emotion of the game. And so far, the Jets basically play without emotion. I hate to say that, but it's very obvious. They just simply are not into the game mentally. And of course, their opening day victory against the San Diego Chargers probably reinforced all the offseason talk about where's the Super Bowl and what hotel should we check into for the Jets. They stubbed their toe last week, and of course they said, well, that's out of the ordinary. That's just an accident. Faced this situation down 16-7, and now their confidence is certainly shaken.
Trump, what accounts for a collective lack of emotion? We're talking about 45, 50 people involved here. How can they all come up flat, or most of them come up flat as a group?
Yeah. Unfortunately, professional football